Hey, warrior. It happens in a fraction of a second. You're standing in a room full of people, or sitting across from someone you trusted, or reading a message that was designed to make you feel small. And it lands. A subtle jab, a condescending tone, a dismissive look, a comment wrapped in sarcasm so thin you can see straight through it. And in that exact moment, your body betrays you. Your chest tightens, your jaw locks, your heart accelerates. The blood rushes to your face, and your mind begins screaming two things simultaneously: fight back or swallow it, destroy them with your words, or laugh it off and hate yourself later. And most people spend their entire lives trapped between these two miserable options: explosive reaction or quiet submission, attack or surrender. Neither one is power. Both of them are defeat dressed in different clothes. But thousands of years ago, the Stoics found the third path. Men like Marcus Aurelius, who commanded empires. Men like Epictetus, who survived slavery and emerged unbroken. They understood something that the modern world has completely forgotten. No one on earth can disrespect you without your permission. Today we explore that truth. 7 Stoic principles for becoming so psychologically untouchable that disrespect simply has nowhere to land. This is not about revenge. This is not about dominance. This is about something far more terrifying to your enemies: total, unshakable indifference. You know exactly what this feels like, warrior. You replay the moment in your mind at 2 in the morning. You rehearse the perfect response you should have given. You construct the devastating comeback 3 hours too late. You lie awake running the conversation on a loop, trying to find the exact moment you lost control of your own dignity. You let it in. You let their words reach the part of you that still doubts itself, the part that wonders, maybe they're right, maybe I am too sensitive, maybe I deserved that. And so you either explode and prove them right about you, or you say nothing and prove to yourself that your dignity is negotiable. You text someone about it, you vent, you seek validation. You need someone to confirm that yes, what they did was wrong, because without that confirmation, you cannot trust your own perception. That is not strength. That is a mind that has handed its keys to anyone willing to reach for them. And a Stoic does not live that way. A Stoic does not outsource his peace. A Stoic does not require a witness to confirm his worth. A Stoic does not hand the commander's chair of his mind to the most provocative person in the room. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When someone disrespects you, and you react, you have just announced to the entire room that their words carry authority over your internal world. You have told them, "You reached me, you got in." The door was open, and you walked right through it. When you explain yourself frantically, you have handed them the judge's gavel and stepped onto the witness stand. When you fight back in anger, you have mirrored their chaos and entered a battle on their terms, on their battlefield, by their rules. And that, warrior, is not power. That is a hostage situation dressed as a confrontation. The Stoic does not fight the storm. The Stoic watches it from behind glass, calm, composed, entirely unmoved, while the storm exhausts itself trying to break something that was never fragile to begin with. 1. There's a truth about disrespect that almost no one understands. There's a fundamental illusion that every disrespectful moment creates, and almost every person falls for it every single time. When the insult lands, your ego steps forward and declares, "This is about me." You assume they have measured your worth, studied your flaws, delivered a verdict on who you are. But warrior, listen carefully. Happy people do not walk into rooms trying to make others feel small. Grounded people do not drop passive-aggressive comments to steal energy from conversations. Fulfilled people do not craft insults disguised as jokes to watch another person flinch. The person disrespecting you is not offering a critique of your character. They are giving you a desperate, uncontrolled confession of their own internal collapse. Epictetus taught that we must never be disturbed by the actions of the ignorant, for they act according to their nature. They are drowning, and drowning people thrash. They grab at whatever is closest. They pull others down, not from cruelty, but from panic. When you understand this, the insult loses its venom entirely. You stop seeing them as a judge. You start seeing them as a patient, not with pity, not with contempt, with the cold, clinical detachment of someone who understands exactly what they are looking at. Their disrespect is not a verdict on you, warrior. It is a confession of their own pain. 2. There's a trap that destroys more dignity than any insult ever could. There's a response so common, so deeply conditioned into most people that they do not even realize it is happening until the damage is done. The urge to explain yourself. Someone questions your decision, and you launch into a defense of your entire character. Someone misunderstands your intentions, and you write paragraphs trying to prove you are a good person. Someone doubts your capability, and you immediately begin listing your qualifications like a man on trial for a crime he did not commit. You think you are standing up for yourself. You are not. You are stepping onto the witness stand and handing them the power to acquit or condemn you. Every explanation you offer is a signal. It says, "Your opinion of me is so important that I am burning my premium energy trying to change it." Marcus Aurelius wrote that an emerald does not lose its value simply because it is not praised. You do not owe a toxic person a thesis defense for your right to exist. When you refuse to justify yourself to someone who has already decided not to understand you, you starve them of the only leverage they were ever trying to steal. Not explanation, not defense, not justification, just silence, and the quiet devastation of someone who knows exactly who they are and requires no confirmation from the outside world. 3. There's a single sentence that collapses a manipulator's entire strategy. There's a weapon the Stoics understood that modern psychology has only recently begun to name. It is not a comeback. It is not a clever insult returned. It is not a perfectly timed, cutting remark. It is a mirror. When the disrespect lands, you do not react. You do not flinch. You look at them with the calm, clinical curiosity of a scientist observing a confused and frightened animal. You let 1 second pass, then 2, and then with a perfectly steady, entirely neutral voice, you ask this one question. Are you hoping for a reaction from me? That is the sentence, warrior. 7 words. Lethal. Because what you have just done is drag their tactic from the shadows into the light. Manipulators and passive-aggressive personalities operate in subtext. They rely on implication. They require your reaction to complete the circuit of their power. When you name the game with calm curiosity, the circuit breaks. They will freeze. They will stumble. They will say it was just a joke. You're too sensitive. You're overreacting. But you have already won. Epictetus taught that between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lives your freedom. You found the space. You stepped into it. And from inside it, you looked at them and calmly asked if they were waiting for something. They were, and you gave them nothing. 4. There's a power in silence that most people are too uncomfortable to use. There's something that happens after you ask the question that determines everything. Most people cannot do it. Most people feel the suffocating discomfort and immediately rush to fill it with words, with softening, with qualification, with a joke to break the tension. Do not do that, warrior. Ask the question, then close your mouth and hold the silence like it weighs nothing. Do not add because that was uncalled for. Do not say, I just want you to know. Do not reach for the awkwardness and try to smooth it over. Let it sit. Let it expand. Let the entire weight of what just happened rest in the air between you. Seneca wrote that silence is one of the great arts of conversation. A toxic person met with absolute silence begins to drown in it. Their anxiety spikes. They realize they have lost the script. In their desperation to escape the discomfort they created, they will start talking, they will over-explain, they will backtrack. They will suddenly become very interested in changing the subject. While they are scrambling, you simply watch, unmoved, unbothered, still. Silence is not empty, warrior. It is full of everything they cannot handle. 5. There's a long-term strategy that permanently changes how people treat you. There's a decision that must be made after the moment has passed. And most people get this wrong. They forgive too fast. They return to normal too soon. They absorb the disrespect, survive the moment, and then hand the person their full access again as if nothing happened. And so the cycle repeats. Because the toxic person learned a crucial lesson. That crossing your line costs them nothing. The Stoic does not hold a grudge. A grudge is poison you carry in your own body. The Stoic does not plot revenge, because revenge keeps you chained to the person you are trying to escape. But the Stoic does enforce consequences through strategic withdrawal. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best revenge is to be unlike the one who performed the injury. Your attention is a premium asset. Your warmth is earned, not given freely. Your humor, your stories, your presence, these are not available to everyone at all times. When someone demonstrates they do not respect you, you reduce their access level, quietly, without announcement, without drama. You reply slower. You keep your answers short and factual. You stop sharing your inner world. You remain perfectly polite and absolutely cold. You do not have to demand respect, warrior. You simply remove your energy from every environment where it is not naturally given. 6. There's an inner architecture that makes you permanently untouchable. There's a question that cuts deeper than any insult, and you must answer it honestly. Why do the words of people you do not even respect manage to keep you awake at 3 in the morning? Because somewhere beneath the surface, you fear they might be right. If your sense of self is built on the opinions, praise, and validation of the external world, then every person who withholds approval becomes a threat to your entire identity. You live in a state of constant, fragile vigilance, scanning for threats, monitoring how people are responding to you, adjusting your behavior to manage their perception. That is not living. That is an exhausting full-time performance. Epictetus taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. True untouchability is an inside construction. It is built through the private, unglamorous work of honoring your own word, keeping promises you make to yourself when no one is watching, acting with integrity when there is absolutely nothing to gain. When you know the depth of your own character, not because someone told you, but because you have lived it in the dark, the insults of the crowd sound like the barking of distant dogs. They are speaking to a phantom warrior, a version of you that only exists in their limited perception. They cannot touch you because they cannot even see you. 7. There's a freedom on the other side of this that most people will never find. There's a final truth that every warrior on this path must eventually face. When you stop reacting, they will not applaud your growth. When you hold your silence and withdraw your access, they will not respect your boundaries. They will call you arrogant. They will say you have changed. They will tell other people that you think you are better than everyone else. They will rewrite the entire story and cast themselves as the innocent victim and you as the cold, unreasonable villain. Let them. Seneca wrote that it is not the man who has too little that is poor, but the man who always craves more. The desperate craving to be the hero in everyone's story is one of the most expensive addictions a person can carry. You cannot control what people whisper behind closed doors. And trying to manage your reputation among people who do not respect you is a miserable way to spend your one life. Let them misread your peace as pride. Let them interpret your calm as coldness. Let them take comfort in their version of events. Your life is not a public relations campaign, warrior. You are here to master your own mind, to execute your purpose, to guard your inner citadel with the quiet ferocity of someone who understands exactly what is worth protecting. That is not arrogance, that is sovereignty. If you've come this far, you already feel it. Something shifting inside you, a quiet recalibration, a settling of something that has been restless for a long time. You don't need to fight every person who tests you. You don't need to explain yourself to those who have already decided not to understand. You don't need to be liked by everyone in order to be at peace with yourself. That is not weakness. That is not coldness. That is the rarest thing a human being can build, a self so grounded, so clear, so complete, that the chaos of other people simply finds no surface to grip. The Stoics never taught indifference to life. They taught mastery of self. They did not reject the world. They refused to be controlled by it. And now, so do you. The next time it happens, and it will happen, do not panic. Do not reach for the comeback. Do not launch the defense. Do not shrink into apology or explode into anger. Pause. Breathe. Let the space open up. Look at them with the calm, devastating awareness of someone who has already won. And ask the one question that changes everything. Are you hoping for a reaction from me? Then stand in the magnificent silence of your own sovereignty. Because every time you choose stillness over reaction, you build an empire within that no storm can touch. Every time you walk away without explanation, you reclaim a piece of your dignity they thought they had taken. Every time you hold your peace when the world tries to pull you into chaos, you remind yourself of the one truth that has always been yours. No one on earth has the power to disrespect you without your permission. Go now, warrior, quietly, powerfully. Let your stillness be the loudest thing in the room. Let your absence teach the lesson your words never could. Let your peace be the final answer, the one they will spend a long time trying to forget. And if you carry only one thing from everything said here today, carry this. Your reaction is your most valuable currency. Spend it on nothing that does not deserve it.